The hits just keep on coming, guys. Welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon Geeky Sparkles sitting this video out. I couldn't wait for her to get back. She went to the store and she's out. So I'm going to talk about this. This is a bombshell. I guess everybody already knew it, but here we go, guys. Rotten Tomatoes has been paying critics for reviews for years. So this is really interesting because one of the most criticized studios out there is Disney. Every time a Disney movie comes out, it seems like, there's accusations of review bombing. The fans are review bombing this movie. Oh, help us, Rotten Tomatoes. Take those horrible, nasty troll accounts away. Make sure that, our movie is certified fresh. If you know what's good for you, you'll make sure that our movie is certified fresh. And oh, by the way, did we mention that the CEO of Fandango, which owns Rotten Tomatoes, is a former Disney employee? Just putting that out there. That's something that a lot of people don't know, but it's true. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about all of this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants, guys. No woohoos today. Geeky, I think her voice is recovering from the hour plus Disney dump we took earlier today. But yeah, this is coming from Mike on clownfishtv.com. And it was posted by Culture Crave. And the original article is on Vulture. So we're giving everybody credit here. A PR firm has been manipulating Rotten Tomatoes movie scores for over 5 years by paying critics directly. Remember when channels like ours, there's so many channels like ours that talk about the same things, right? Channels like ours were accused of perpetuating conspiracy theories that the studios were paying off critics to artificially inflate their movie scores on Rotten Tomatoes. Well, it looks like it's effing true. Look at that. In fact, they changed the rules for Captain Marvel. They adjusted things for other Disney movies. Little Mermaid, there was some weirdness going on there. See what Mike Phelan on clownfishtv.com has to say. He says, a story from Vulture has revealed that a PR firm has been providing financial incentives for critics to write and publish reviews. Said paid reviews would help boost a film's rating on the aggregator site Rotten Tomatoes. It's alleged that Bunker 15 started a campaign in October of 2018 to inflate the score of the Daisy Ridley movie Ophelia. Very few critical reviews had been published at the time. The score was below 50%. According to unnamed critics in the Vulture piece, Bunker 15 was paying $50 a review. However, if a critic's article was negative and could harm the financial viability of the movie, those reviews would be housed outside of Rotten Tomatoes' jurisdiction by way of publishing them on lesser-known blogs. We have seen in the last couple of years that a whole new crop of critics have come in and they're trying to claim they want to give marginalized voices. More of an opportunity to have their voices heard on Rotten Tomatoes. And you find out that they work for websites that like nobody's heard of. So are they just in it for the money? Who knows? Score manipulation is something we've often heard of, but it usually refers to something called review bombing, which is the opposite of what Bunker 15 has been doing. Supposedly, Rotten Tomatoes is against writers reviewing based on a financial incentive. However, we'll see what's done about this recent revelation. It's going to undermine the credibility of Rotten Tomatoes, which has been undermined for a while now. Vulture's Lane Brown did say she contacted the review aggregator about the PR firm's sneaky tricks. Rotten Tomatoes did two things in response. It removed films that Bunker 15 represented and issued the following statement to writers. We take the integrity of our scores seriously and do not tolerate any attempts to manipulate them. We have a dedicated team who monitors our platform regularly and thoroughly investigates and resolves any suspicious activity. According to the company's website, Bunker 15 uses a smart tech publicity engine which helps find the right journalists, the ones who like to line their pockets, the right journalists to promote your film. Even VOD releases can earn press. Every film deserves to find its audience. Whether you have a small film with a limited theatrical release or you have a straight to VOD feature, they can reach out to the journalists that are interested in your stories. Some of the films under their umbrella: Burt Reynolds' The Last Interview, Wildflower, Cold November, Tulsa, Busman's Holiday, and Gasoline Alley. Now, this actually isn't news to anybody who's worked in marketing. There are a ton of firms out there that reach out to influencers and get them to promote products. I mean, a lot of YouTubers that you guys watch, I'm sure, promote products, and usually there is payment involved in talking about said products, right? We have to disclose that, like, Skillshare or somebody or Keeps or whoever, when they come to you, VPN, that is a paid sponsorship. We have to disclose that. That being said, they target certain channels based on their demographics that they want to reach. And that's fine. It's basically a commercial, right? It's basically a commercial. And we don't take sponsorships from companies unless I actually think they have some value. We've been offered some really crappy mobile apps and stuff before, and I won't do them. That being said, I do know that there's a darker side to this kind of promotion, that there are companies out there that will go out and reach out to influencers and pay them to say nice things. Just say nice things. And look, we ran a theme park specific blog for a number of years, not Pirates and Princesses, but another one that we had with a partner who had a vested interest in Disney. And there was money changing hands. There was actually money being laundered because that partner was also a Disney travel agent. One of the top 3 Disney travel agents in the world. And that partner was basically paid by Disney for marketing. And that partner then used that marketing money to bankroll our site or help bankroll our site. And it was understood that we knew that at the end of the day, I mean, we could be objective within reason, but at the end of the day, the mouse cut our checks, right? Like, yeah, technically we were partners on this site, but really at the end of the day, the mouse was paying the bills. And the old saying is, you don't shit where you eat, right? And I think it's the same way with a lot of these websites, a lot of these, they're hurting for money, and studios are desperate. And if you can't get your stuff seen, you're going to pay to get it seen, and the marketer's perspective is it's no different than like boosting on Facebook or something, but you're talking about manipulating ratings, right? Which is a little bit different thing. And the fact is that Rotten Tomatoes has prided itself on being, this bastion of integrity. That Rotten Tomatoes, these were legit critical scores from vetted journalists, vetted critics, and apparently you can buy a score from a critic on a blog for $50. So that's one company. And these films I haven't heard of. I've heard of Tulsa, and that's about it. Cold November, I think I've heard of. That's one company. How many other PR firms like this Bunker 15 are out there? Maybe they're paying bigger bucks. Well, okay, it's $50 to get some rando off some hole-in-the-wall movie blog. But if you want to get like a Scott Mendelson or something, that's going to cost you thousands. You want Scott Mendelson? I'm not accused. I want to be very clear. I am not accusing Scott Mendelson of taking any money before he gets pissed because somebody will tag me and be like, Scott, they're accusing you of taking money. No, I'm just using him as an example because a lot of people know who he is, the movie critic, or John Campy or somebody like that, right? Somebody that's a bigger name. And then they throw thousands of dollars at them. There are people that are going to take it, especially in this economy, especially with these blogs drying up. There are people that, look, somebody comes to them and says, hey, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, you give us a glowing review, we'll set you up. We'll get you access to the stars. We'll send you to the show, whatever. All you got to do is say our dog shit movie is fantastic because your review carries more weight. So this opens up Pandora's box, doesn't it? Because now that one of these PR outlets have been outed, I guarantee you there are so many more, and they're dealing with much, much larger amounts of money than $50 for a Rotten Tomatoes review. Let's go out to Culture Crave. I think they broke it. Well, Vulture wrote about it, but they really got it going on Twitter. A PR firm has been manipulating Rotten Tomatoes for over 5 years. The system is broken. Audiences are dumber. Normal people don't go through reviews like they used to. Rotten Tomatoes is something the studios can game, so they do, says Paul Schrader. That's true. It's true. I mean, let's be honest. People are, they'll just look at it. They might just kind of glance at like, hey, is this movie any good? Oh, it's got an 89 on Rotten Tomatoes. Must be good. Okay, I'm going to make a trip to the theater. You know? I mean, that's, and then you start to see the audience scores being so much different from the critical scores. And then if the audience fights back, and the audience can fight back through channels like YouTube and through other blogs that aren't bought and paid for, and through podcasts, then you're called a Nazi. You literally are called like alt-right. Like the Captain Marvel thing, the story around Captain Marvel was alt-right bigots are manipulating Rotten Tomatoes to try to tank this movie because they hate women, even though a lot of those same people went to go see Wonder Woman, a year or two before. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that was the story. If you said anything negative about Brie Larson or Captain Marvel, you were a literal Nazi and you were to be ignored, shunned, attacked. You couldn't say anything about this movie. You couldn't say anything about this movie. If you attack anything going on in the MCU for a while, it's not that way now. And I have to wonder if Disney didn't run out of money, but for a while you weren't allowed to say anything negative about any Marvel property. But these marketing companies, and again, this is look, I ate, slept, breathed marketing for years, web development for years. They exist. They AstroTurf. You can buy opinions. You can buy influencers. You can fake being an influencer. There are advertising agencies out there. I can tell you with 100% certainty, there are advertising agencies out there with people writing articles under fake names. People using sock puppet accounts on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. They're actually part of a marketing team. Because it's their job to look, there's a lot of money at stake. It's their job to make these movies look as good as possible, especially the first week or two, because that's when most of the money is going to roll in. After that, it doesn't matter as much. But you better go hard in the paint on any detractors within that first week or two, because we're talking hundreds of millions, possibly billions of dollars at stake. So yeah, is it worth it to them to throw a couple grand at people to buy off reviews? To maybe even, think about this, even to pay people to start bad faith arguments with people on Twitter or people on Facebook or people in the comments section of YouTube, to try to discredit people that don't like these movies, because it's going to affect your box office. It absolutely is going to affect your box office. And this is what these companies will promise. They'll promise the studios, and they don't advertise a whole lot. Like, you got to know who they are, right? But they'll promise the studios, hey, we're going to fix your shit. We're going to fix this problem. Oh, hey, those YouTubers are complaining about Captain Marvel. We'll fix that problem for you. We'll fix that problem for you. We got a whole team of people in India. They're going to pretend to be Brie Larson stans or something, or we're gonna fabricate some nonsense to save this movie opening weekend. You don't think they would do it? This opens up a whole can of worms because they're admitting it. They're admitting that the studios will absolutely pay people to manipulate Rotten Tomatoes. And I will tell you, that is just the tip of the fucking iceberg. It goes so deep, you guys have no fucking idea. You have no idea how manipulated the entire internet is. It is a whole business unto itself, right? Because there's a lot of money at stake. So we're all being played. We're all being played. Bunker 15 pays $50 for a review. I guarantee you there are other organizations that pay a lot more. They recruit obscure critics who are part of the pool tracked by Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, and again, this does explain why they're like, all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, all these new critics, these marginalized critics are suddenly appearing on the site. Yeah, it's because we're trying to be more diverse and inclusive. Nah, we're picking a bunch of randos from no-name sites because we're going to let these people pay them off. Rotten Tomatoes has delisted a number of Bunker 15 movies. We're going to continue to update you on the story. Disney shows right now Yeah, yeah, that's true. There are people, not everybody. There are some people that are just like freaking along for the ride. But I guarantee you, there is more manipulation going on in the media. There's more manipulation going on when it comes to the marketing behind these movies. And these studios are not stupid. They're really not stupid. But I think the reason that we're not seeing as many websites defending companies like Disney is because Disney's flat ass broke. That's what's actually going on. So you're starting to see it now. Like, where were all these people to defend Quantumania? Where were all these people to defend The Little Mermaid? Other than, at first it was like, oh, you just hate black people. Then after the movie came out and people were like, oh, it's not that good. Yeah, it just all stopped. All the conversation stopped because the movie was in the theater, it made its money, and it was out. And it was obvious it was not going to hit $1 billion. But I guarantee you a lot of that outrage, that trumped up outrage, no pun intended, that trumped up outrage at the beginning, there were probably marketing firms involved in that. And there are so many of them out there. Again, the average person has no fucking idea. They go to a site like Rotten Tomatoes real quick, glance at it, be like, yeah, 89. Oh, it's got a red tomato. That must be a good one. It's worth paying $10 to go see it. And that's all they think about it. But again, YouTubers have caught on. We have caught on. You know, it's it's gotten pretty messy over the last couple of years. But there it is, guys. Where the hell was this information when everybody was getting dogpiled for accusing Disney of manipulating the Captain Marvel scores and so many other movies? You weren't allowed to criticize this stuff. And now it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because the money's gone, right? So whatever. Now, honestly, a lot of people involved are probably like, yeah, fuck Disney because of the strikes and all that stuff. Whatever. They can't pay their bills. Whatever. Let the YouTubers have them. So we'll see what the scores are like for Captain Marvel 2, for the Marvels. We'll see if they're any better than they were for the original Captain Marvel. I have a sneaking suspicion it's not going to be well received. But I could be wrong. It could be the best damn Marvel movie ever made. Who the hell knows? Please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later. Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.